Hello grade 6, this is Miss Susan. Today we will apply measures of center, which are mean, median, and mode, and variabilities, which are range and interquartile range, to compare between them for more description for our data. Our lesson today is 3.6, apply measures of center and variabilities. And our essential question is,
what do measures of center and variability indicate about a data set?
So, what are the measures of center and variabilities tell us about any group of data? So, for more explanation for our data, we will explain or compare between measures of center and variabilities for more explanation for our data. So let's start and see.
Let's compare the heights of the two teams.
So first let's read the question and see the givens.
Julia is collecting data on her favorite sports teams for a report. The table shows the median and interquartile range of the heights of the players on her favorite baseball and basketball teams. How do the heights of the two teams compare? Let's unlock the problem.
So we have here a team with table, baseball team, and basketball team heights. So we have measures of center, which is the median. So let's compare the median of the two teams, and interquartile range to describe variety or variabilities in two teams. So let's compare the two teams' results.
First, let's compare the medians. How does the basketball team's median height compare to that of the baseball team's?
The median height is the middle height. Okay, so the median height for basketball team, as you see, is more than or less than the baseball team. So it is greater than the basketball team or the baseball team.
The basketball team's median height is 6 inches greater than the baseball team's median height. So the basketball players are taller.
Basketball
now let's compare the interquartile ranges. How does the baseball team's interquartile range compare to that of the basketball team?
The interquartile range describing the variety. So the variety in baseball team is 5 and the variety in basketball team is 3. So this means the variety here in baseball team is more than the basketball team. So the baseball team is more variable than basketball team.
The baseball team's interquartile range is greater than the basketball team's. So, do the baseball team's heights vary more or less than the basketball team's?
So, we said what describes the variety? The variety of variability described by the interquartile range. So, the baseball team is more variable in heights than the basketball team, because here in the baseball team is 5 and basketball team is 3. So, this means the height in baseball team vary more than the
greater
interquartile
team. Range indicates that the heights of the baseball players vary more than the heights of the basketball team. So the players on the basketball team are typically taller than the players on the baseball team, but the heights of the baseball team vary more than those of the basketball team.
So do you understand? In the basketball team, the total of the height of the team are higher than the baseball team. However, the total of the members of the team are so close from each other. However, the team of baseball are shorter, but they vary. Maybe some are so long and some are so short. So there are big variety between their heights. Okay, so let's see another example and describe or compare between measures of center and the variabilities.
Zoe collected data on the number of points her favorite basketball players scored in several games. Use the information in the table to compare the data. How does the mean of player 1's points compare to that of player 2's?
Okay, so we will compare here between the mean. And the mean here is the average between the points scored by player 1 or player 2. So, player 1 scored more than player 2. So the average here of points that player 1 scored are greater than the
Great
other
job!
player's score.
The mean of player 1's points is greater than the mean of player 2's points. How does player 1's interquartile range compare to that of player 2's?
The interquartile range describing the variety of scores. So, player 1's variety of scores are 11 and player 2 variety of scores are 7. So, which one has more variety? Player 1 has more. So, player 1 is greater than player 2 regarding the interquartile range.
Excellent! The interquartile range of player 1's points is greater than the interquartile range of player 2's points. You can use the results to compare the two players. Compared to player 2, does player 1 typically score more, fewer, or the same number of points?
Okay, so player 1 typically scores. Player 1 is more in range, so of course more points than player 2, and the variety also are more.
That's right. Player 1 typically scores more points than player 2. Do player 1's scores typically vary less than, as much as, or more than player 2's scores?
So the variety is described by the interquartile range. The variety here of player 1 is 11. However, the variety for player 2 is 7. So which one has typically variable scores? Of course, player 1 has more varied scores than player 2.
Great job! Player 1's scores typically vary more than player 2's scores. Now try your homework on your own with the personal math trainer. It includes the exercise you saw at the beginning of the lesson.
Thank you, grade 6, for watching. Hope that you understood the lesson on how to compare between measures of center and variabilities.
See you soon.
See you soon.